On this episode of SLEDHEAD 24/7, the snowcross season is in full effect. We hit the track, profile some racers, and get the ins on what's new for this upcoming race year. Polaris Ultimate Gift Giveaway is underway, and for Military Appreciation Month, they surprised one lucky family on the podium in Duluth. All that and more today on SLEDHEAD 24/7.
Keep the counter steered and then just control your body weight. Just ready for another.
Hey Sledders, welcome to another episode of SLEDHEAD 24/7, where we are everything snowmobile. I'm your host, Carly Applin, coming to you from Country Cat, the world's largest Arctic Cat dealer, located right outside of Sauk Center, Minnesota. Plenty of rich racing history on display and lots of great toys for the taking. But we're going to get this show started with some cats on the snowcross track.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me what snowcross is like, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's it's kind of like riding a dirt bike, but at the same respect, it's completely different because you're trying to handle a 470-pound machine through snow and slush, and it seems like we see all the different aspects of the weather. Racing sleds, it's definitely a very difficult form of racing, I guess you would say. I get an adrenaline rush when it comes to flags flying and passing guys, getting roosted in the face with ice chunks, and huge adrenaline rush. When I'm sitting on the line with 10 other guys in a pro open final, the intensity level though is just 1 to none. I like to go out there and have a good clean race, but I can tell you, if somebody comes in and tries cleaning me out, they will get it back before the year's over.
When he needs to be on the throttle, he's on the throttle. When he's not, it's a very smart move. It's calculated. We had very little testing this year with our weather and everything else. We went into Duluth with almost minimal testing, but he's adjusting well.
Coming from Polaris to the Arctic Cat, it's kind of like I tell everybody, it's still a snowmobile, gas is on the right, brakes on the left, but it's totally different suspension, totally different chassis. And I've worked a lot in the race shop before the races, just trying to learn the sled myself, just so I know.
We're trying to build the sled for him and his style. We're getting there. We're learning as we go. I think it's starting to work.
Justin Broberg qualifying fourth, and he's riding with added motivation this season. He's on a new sled, moving from Polaris to Arctic Cat. He also left the Hensch's racing team. He said that was kind of a wake-up call, and he said that he feels like he has something to prove this season after not being picked up until the season started with McGuire Racing. So keep your eyes to 168 because he is riding with that extra determination.
And we are green in Fargo. Great start, and the 168 is out front. That's Justin Broberg.
For me, just a new team, new sled, pretty much new everything.
We acquired Justin Broberg late in the game. Met with him, great young guy. Kind of changed my mind on some things, and we brought him aboard.
I'm super pumped to be back for sure. I thought for a while there I wasn't going to be racing.
I believe I see a great future with McGuire Motorsports and Justin. We just want to progress, do the best we can. Everything is about presenting ourselves and giving 100%.
The team's really good. Everybody knows what they need to do. The sleds are working really good, and I think we got things figured out. I've worked a lot in the race shop before the races, just trying to learn the sled myself, just so I know when I come in I can tell the guys, hey, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I think maybe we should change, and
So they're making adjustments, and we're doing little adjustments at a time, trying to get that sled where the sled is almost obsolete.
To watch these guys in action, head over to snowcross.com where you can watch past races, get results, and check out live events. Still ahead, we have a Q&A with Skidoo on suspension setup, and Polaris has a new race sled design this season. Find out more when SLEDHEAD 24/7 returns.
SLEDHEAD 24/7 is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Polaris, Terrain Domination, Arctic Cat, Share Our Passion, Skidoo Snowmobiles, FXR, world-class outerwear, and by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram.
Welcome back to SLEDHEAD 24/7. I'm your host, Carly Applin. Suspension setup can be a little tricky, but Skidoo makes it fairly easy for you to dial in your ride. Our tech expert, Jeff Fisher, has more.
Okay, now we're going to go over some different scenarios that we get asked quite often on what to do if my sled isn't handling correctly. You know, one is steering feels a little light, I'm going into the corners and it pushes. Wants to go straight, doesn't want to make that corner.
First thing I'd recommend is we try the coupling block at the back of the suspension. Make sure we're not transferring weight to the back of the snowmobile. So let's turn up the coupler block at the back and see if that helps first. If this guy is already fairly active, then we may need to move to step number 2, which might be turning up the rear spring preload just a little bit, and or front spring preload too. The snowmobile supports its weight typically in 3 spots. You've got your skis, your center shock, and your rear arm. Put the coupler block at position number 2 or 3 back here. What we're doing is we're not allowing the snowmobile to compress at the back end, and it keeps the skis planted in the ground. By turning up the spring preload here, we're doing the same thing. We're putting some more weight onto this pivot point right here, right on the ski pivot. So again, that's giving you more bite in the turn.
Coupler block, in my opinion, is the easiest. Next would be ski preload.
Here's the best part. If you have Pilot TS skis, guess what?
Tell me, Steve.
Click it a couple times, you're ready to rock. Okay, next question.
Now we're going just the opposite end. The steering's too heavy, too much effort. What can we do?
Okay, let's check the coupler block position back here for number 1. Again, we'll turn there first. Go down 1 notch at least. Okay, the next couple things that you can do after that, you can add some spring preload in the center here. Keep in mind your snowmobile does kind of pivot around this point right here. Obviously, it's a fulcrum point on the machine. Another thing you can do again, loosen up the spring preload on the skis themselves.
Suspension feels too soft and bottoms out easy. What can we do to fix that? That seems pretty much a no-brainer to me, right?
Well, what would you do first?
Well, I guess I would start with going my compression. Start to try to stiffen up the compression dampening first.
Correct.
If that doesn't work out, my only other choice is to start bumping my preload.
Yep, and at some point, if you run out of preload, you may need to look at the next larger size springs. Preload is about rider weight, not about bottoming out as much. So when you've got the proper amount of sag in there and you're still bottoming at that point, it's compression in your shock for sure where you want to look. If you're feeling a bump and you're feeling it through your hands and your shoulders, it's your front ski shocks typically that you're going to look at to adjust, okay? If you're feeling it through your feet or your knees in that area, chances are it's the center shock, and if you're feeling it through your butt or your back, it's the rear shock that you're going to look to adjust. So if you are feeling bottoming or feeling something in your suspension, notice where it's coming from and then adjust accordingly.
Now, another question we get asked is limiter straps. When should I use them? What do they do? How should I adjust them?
Well, let's talk about what happens when you adjust a limiter strap first, okay? When you're going down the trail, people think a bump is actually just a piece of snow going up, but it's actually a hole typically. So when you're hitting a bump, you're falling into a hole first. So remember, your ski is going to go over it. As the snowmobile passes over the bump, if this suspension isn't allowed to drop into that bump, you're going to be absorbing that bump with this part of the suspension back here and feeling it through your butt a lot more than through your feet. So let's say we're gonna shorten up our front limiter strap. So then therefore we're gonna take and we're gonna go like this. Our track is now gonna come up more like this, at this kind of an angle. So you shorten up this limiter strap here, you're taking weight off the center of your snowmobile and you're putting more weight on this part, your ski itself, and on the rear axle. Again, you drop into that hole and you won't start absorbing it until you hit the front of the skid right here. It's a much harder hit at that point.
And you have less travel. So now instead of greeting the bump here where it was, we're not greeting the bump till back here.
Correct.
Now we're hitting off the center or the rear arm. And then that's what's you're going to get that buck or kick.
In the case of limiter straps, we always want to try just about every other adjustment before we go to that level, because out of the box, this is designed to, the suspension drops out just a little bit to give a little bit of a cushion as you hit a bump. It's a pretty good setting, so once you've gone through all the other parameters and you feel you still need to go to limiter strap, that's the time to go looking at it, but adjust everything else first.
And with what Skidoo has, they have a lot of adjustments, so yeah, to touch the limiter strap, I really don't think you will. You'll have plenty of adjustment around that.
When it comes to suspension setup, make sure to get to know your machine. Taking time to dial in your ride just right will make it that much more enjoyable. Still ahead, Polaris gives one family the gift of a lifetime. But first, let's check in with AMSOIL, the first in synthetics.
Here at Planet X, there's a whole bunch of different equipment that's working. To keep this test area and to keep this practice track in perfect condition, all kinds of equipment needs to work.
Operating Planet X is a year-round undertaking. In the spring, we start preparing our equipment for the following fall. We've got pumps that have to run wide open 24 hours a day, up to 6 days in a row. Every link of our chain has to run when they need to, when we get ready to make snow. And our groomer has to run, it has to start when it's 20 below. Our dozer start when it's cold so that we can break up the track.
Here at AMSOIL, I often get asked, why is it that you guys are involved in snowmobile racing? Well, besides the obvious, sleds flying through the air, the glamour, the glory, the cool equipment, there's a whole business going on behind the scenes.
Our business is much more than just operating the snowcross team. We also operate Planet X, the premier testing facility in North America and the world as far as that goes. So we have a whole support system for amateur riders, pro riders, as well as our team to have a place to practice and test before the first race at Spear Mountain. It gives the young kids an opportunity to get time on the snowmobiles, so they go to the first race, they're excited, they don't get hurt, they're competitive, and it helps to grow the sport and have more kids have fun in the sport.
As you can see, this goes well beyond the racetrack for Steve Shearing. For us, this test facility has been an excellent place to prove the capabilities of AMSOIL products time and time again. For more information on how AMSOIL can help your business, go online at amsoil.com.
Welcome back to SLEDHEAD 24/7. I'm your host, Carly Applin. Now, for Military Appreciation Month, Polaris surprised one lucky family with the gift of never forgotten memories. Check it out. A huge welcome to this crowd here, you guys. I want to hear some noise. This is a huge crowd in Duluth. And this is going to be a very special night, not just for racing, but this pre-race show is going to be a lot of fun. Levi LaValle is here. Let's give Levi a huge welcome, you guys. And Levi, do you want to give them the surprise? Do you want to tell them what they're really here for? Because they think they're just being honored tonight, but we're honoring you guys in a very special way. Levi, do you want to tell them what they get tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. We just want to say thank you for your service and all that you've done, and on behalf of Polaris and Team LaValle. And as a high five to you guys, we want to give you guys each a new Polaris Indy 600 for all that you do. Thank you guys so much.
We thought we were just coming for a military veteran recognition, and they surprised us with the snowmobile, and it's just, I don't even have words for it at this point in time.
Just unbelievable. We're just thankful and humbled and happy. Yeah. We're gonna do a lot of snowmobiling now, a lot more.
This is so far above and beyond just a recognition. It's really special.
It was such an honor to give away a sled to this military family. A huge thank you to everyone who serves. Now I'd like to introduce you to PJ Wanderscheid, the general manager here at Country Cat. Tell everyone what they can expect when they come to the dealership.
Yeah, Country Cat, we're really everything Arctic Cat. So whether it's snowmobiles, ATVs, side-by-sides, we take care of your Arctic Cat needs that way. We also have the service technicians in the back that can maintenance your machine and take care of you that way after the sale. And then as far as parts and accessories, we have it all in stock and ready to ship pretty much immediately.
That's great. Thanks so much, PJ. And for more information on the dealership, go to countrycat.com. Still ahead, what's new with Polaris Racing? We're going to find out next on SLEDHEAD 24/7.
SLEDHEAD 24/7 is brought to you by AmSoil, the first in synthetics. Stud Boy, traction with an attitude. Straight line performance. Ziegler Cat, exceptional service backing the best equipment. The U.S. Air Force, aim high. And by Speedworks, straight up USA horsepower.
You're watching SLEDHEAD 24/7, and if it happens on the snow, then you'll find it here first. Now, Polaris made some refinements to their snowcross sled this season. Let's find out more.
For 2016, Polaris came out with new body design for their snowcross racer, and one thing that they really tried to focus on was rider position and ergonomics of where the rider would sit and be sitting when he's in the corners. They put a lot of emphasis on trying to get the rider forward, narrow the machine up a lot so it felt a lot skinnier, a lot lighter, and I think they've achieved that.
It's a lot more rider friendly. We're able to move our bodies forward, getting into the corners, transfer from an attack position to a cornering position a lot better.
There's no question. I mean, I think Polaris Racing's got the best race department in the industry, and there's Polaris employees that actually are working out of this trailer.
We've been working on the new axis, and that's the chassis we have and the bodywork, and we're all working together at the Laytons and Judnicks and Henches to try to work together to build the best sled we can build, and build the best race sled and the best trail sled.
I'm feeling really good on the new sled. Not a whole lot has changed as far as geometry and everything with the new sleds. Just a big change with plastic and ergonomics there.
They get the rider forward more. Turning's way better, especially on this track here at Fargo. It's flat corners, so just got done in practice and Robbie came in and he's like, man, you look fast in the corners.
You know, it's just great to get on a machine and know that it doesn't have a limit type of deal. You're always finding out new things you can do to it and make it a better sled, and every year it just progresses as a better machine.
It's a good fit for me. I'm kind of a bigger guy, kind of stronger, so I like the extra power. I like the way I can custom, you know, make the sled how I like it and how I want it. So I think it's a really good fit, and I'm excited to get out there.
The sleds are definitely exciting to ride. It's something, it's kind of hard to explain. They have so much power, suspension's so good, and it's just one of those things that each and every time you get out there, you're excited to go see what the track's going to be like.
It's made me a lot more comfortable in the corners, and even if I have to correct the sled in the air, it's a lot easier for me as a rider.
One of the biggest challenges that we have is to always try to find something better. We get something working good, we establish that as our baseline, and then we move forward and we look for something new.
The weight is a big factor this year. We're trying to reduce the weight as much as possible. The rotating mass of the track and the clutches and the crankshaft and all, we're trying to get all that as light as we can. And then the weight of the sled itself, so the rider can throw it around more, maneuver it in the air more. So the lighter we get it, the faster they go, the more they can maneuver them.
So anytime that you have something that's good, you're always striving to make it better. So whether it's, you know, motor packages, pipes, clutching, chassis stuff, anything you can do to get that extra step helps, and that doesn't stop all season long.
Every year we look to get Cody Cam to keep progressing, and he's coming along phenomenal. And this year we're looking for him to win more races and stay up front and contend every weekend for the win. That's our goal. We build our sleds and Polaris snowmobiles to keep pushing the envelope so we can do that week in and week out.
That's my 4th year racing in the pro class now, and I've just relaxed a little bit, and I can relax when I'm out on the track and not just make mistakes and try to go too fast.
Late Motorsports is good as a whole. We're really excited. Cord Todd, being his 2nd year in pro class, kind of knows what to expect this year. Trevor's 1st year as a pro, so he's got some adjustments to do, some learning to do with that, I'm expecting some good things out of both of them.
Well, Ross Martin's been with us. This is the 13th year that Ross has been with Judnick Motorsports, so it's been a long-standing relationship, and of course, pumped to have Ross. I mean, usually you see guys changing teams or changing brands or what have you, and between our relationship with Polaris, of course, and our other long-standing sponsors, you know, Ross will be here, there's no question in my mind, through the rest of his career.
Our end goal is to build something that is not only durable, looks cool, super fast, super technical, whatever the design or the feature that you're going after, it ultimately ends up back in the consumer's hands, and that's the main goal anytime we're out here.
It's a good change for Polaris because now they have a sled that is what you can buy on the trail sled side of it too. You know, it's an axis-based machine.
If all the racers make the same generalized comments, you know, there's a change for the next season coming to make the sleds better every year.
And you know, the old saying is, what wins on Sunday sells on Monday. That's what we really believe in.
Good luck to all the racers and the teams this season. Make sure to keep it locked right here to SLEDHEAD 24/7 all season long for exclusive coverage of the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross Tour powered by Ram. That's all the time we have for you for this episode of SLEDHEAD 24/7. A huge thank you to Country Cat for having us out today. Make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube for the latest videos, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. From all of us here at SLEDHEAD 24/7, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the snow.